Hey folks, Dr. Bob McCauley. Thought I'd make a short video on this raw food vegan who killed herself by eating only raw fruits and vegetables, and that's the story. There are so many people out there that they're so against veganism, and they just want to eat meat, and they think this is a ideological war or something like that, and these people that don't want to eat meat, and I'm going to eat my meat. And as I've said 1,000 times before, I could care less what you do. Doesn't matter to me. You're not putting it in my body when you eat something. So when somebody smokes, we all smoke because we got to breathe it in. But when you eat a burger, you're not putting it in my face, and I don't care. I always say know the source of your food. But this Xana Dart was her name. She's from Russia. That's what she went by. It was Sansonova, something like that. And Xana was the first name. So you look there, she's a very attractive woman, and then she kind of started eating herself and becoming emaciated. So we don't know what the backstory is of this woman. That's the point. You don't know you don't know what her diet was. So she was on a diet of just a couple of fruits, some sunflower sprouts, and that's it. And can you live on that? Well, people live on McDonald's, literally. So you can live on a lot of things and get away with it. But she just became totally emaciated, and then that's what killed her. Well, we don't know what killed her because her mother said she died of cholera. Well, it's an infectious disease. And if you break your immune system down by eating fruit and only a couple different types of fruit like durian and a few others, then you're not, something I wouldn't recommend you do. You got to get protein. You got to have protein. Now, where do you get protein? Well, you get it from, I just wrote this book on spirulina and chlorella. That's my latest book. Now, I wrote a whole book on two foods. These are the kings of all superfoods. And, here's my life. All you got to do is, have these. I've been a vegetarian now going on 44 years this year. And as you can see, I'm falling apart. At 66 years old, I can just barely run a 6-minute mile anymore. Can you imagine 6-minute mile? There's guys that have never run a 6-minute mile in their entire life. I was a really great runner when I was in high school, college. I ran a 4:25 mile. And I can still run 6-minute mile because I choose to do that. But it just shows you the idea of your body breaking down. If you're taking spirulina and chlorella, you're not going to have a problem. I mean, and again, did this woman here have an eating disorder? Because it kind of looks like it to me. When you just become emaciated like that and you let that happen, I mean, there's something wrong, I would say, psychologically. But they also said in the coroner's report that she died of a heart attack. She had heart problems. Well, again, you have to have a broad array of nutrients in your diet. But the whole point here, what people are saying, is that she became a vegan, and she was a fruitarian. Well, I don't recommend fruitarian. I eat a lot of fruit. I eat it during the daytime, but never at night. I have salad at night. So, but when I do eat fruit, I take spirulina and chlorella with it. So I'm always getting my protein. You don't need a lot. You only need a small handful, just like that, just 10 or 12 of these little tablets, and that's all the protein you need for that meal. And you can't eat too much of it. You could survive on these foods. Talk about surviving on something. You could survive on these foods exclusively. These are the two healthiest foods in the world. And you'd have all your basic nutrients. So do you ever hear anybody in the meat world or in the animal world or any of these people that promote a carnivore diet, Dr. Sean Baker, any of these people ever even talk about this? No. It's got to be meat. And there's so many nutrients in animals that we just can't get in the plant world. That's what we're told. Well, that's a lie. That's a flat-out lie. There's actually, you can get everything in the plant world that you can get in the animal world. Because where are they getting their nutrients? They're just, they're not creating new nutrients, really. I mean, they take B12. So B12 comes from an animal. Well, no, it comes from cobalt, not Cobalmin, but cobalt. And then a bacteria, so a probiotic. That's how you make vitamin B12. And so what happens, the animal has this, it creates it in its body, and then it accumulates it, and then you eat the meat, and then you get the B12. So that sounds like a middleman to me, because you can take cobalt, I've got some right here, take cobalt, and you can take a probiotic, bacteria, and take them at the same time, and you're going to make, my B12 is fine, by the way. I have it measured like once a year, and it's always right exactly where it should be. And as a matter of fact, it's way I take that back. It's off the charts. because I mean it's really really high. I don't have the tests in front of me, but it just gives you the idea. I don't eat meat. I don't eat meat, fish, eggs, or dairy. I'm a vegan. I got all my B vitamins are fine. I'm full of energy. I run a 6-minute mile. I worked out last night very hard. I work out 25, 30 minutes about 5 days a week. And most guys my age couldn't even begin to do what I do. And but it just shows you, and I'm on a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet or whatever you want to call it, vegan diet, I guess. And and as I said, 25 years of vegan, and then like 44 years now for a vegetarian. But they use someone like this to show us that, you live on this kind of a diet, you're going to die. Well, when you live on just fruit and nothing else, you're going to develop some really big deficiencies, because fruit, some fruit, like pomegranate, for example, or like avocado, these are really nutritionally dense foods, and they're really good for you. Should you live on them exclusively? Well, you can, as long as you're taking spirulina and chlorella. So it doesn't matter the type of raw foods, as much as making sure that they're raw, and then making sure you get spirulina and chlorella with them, because they get the protein. I don't recommend soy, so I would recommend you stay away from that. That's a really bad food. We have the raw food diet being, this really, really exotic, extreme diet called the raw food diet. Well, it's the only healthy diet out there, is the raw food diet, raw fruits and vegetables. It's the diet that all the animals in the wild live on, and you don't see any evidence of chronic disease in the wild, period. It's another thing I've said 1,000 times. It's in all my books. I wrote a book on how to cure yourself naturally of cancer, and I put it in the book, and of course, and this woman never drank water. Oh, well, we're getting to real reason. Did she take probiotics? I didn't hear anything about that. Digestive enzymes. Did she exercise on a regular basis, vigorously every single day, like I recommend? She didn't drink water. That's the most important thing for you. She never consumed water. She hadn't drank water in many, many years, according to the reports. And yet they point to somebody like this because she was an influencer, I think, on Instagram or something. I never really have heard of her until I saw her name mentioned. But I saw it mentioned by these people that are, just hate vegans and hate, just want to disprove the vegan lifestyle and say that everybody's really extreme. Well, if you want to see extreme, do you ever see obese people in the supermarket ride around in their little carts, and they just have a mountain of food in their baskets? Maybe a little tiny thing of banana. There's nothing in there. It's all processed food. It's all boxes and jars and cans of food, and it's like, and they're already obese. And and does anybody blame the food on that? These are food addicts. Okay, I mean, if you're a heroin addict, well, or you're addicted to cocaine, something like that, you end up out on the street, you lose your job, you can't function anymore. But a food addict, they can function, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they become more and more obese. They're trying to tell us now that this is really beautiful to see obesity. Obesity is not healthy. You shouldn't encourage that kind of a lifestyle. So they're food addicts, and they can't stop eating. And nobody says that's unhealthy. No, they just go ahead and eat as long as you're unless you're on a vegan diet, because then you're going to hurt yourself and you're going to die. That's the whole point here. So I want to just stand up one more time for the raw food diet, and it's the diet that I live on. And if you do it the right way, and if you drink alkaline ionized water, which I wrote that's my best-selling book, right? The Miraculous Properties of Ionized Water. Please buy my books. They're on Amazon. They're on Audible. They're on my website, drbobmccauley.com, watershed.net. They're all over the place. You can get them. I have my own book, my own author's page, bobmccauley.books.com. So you get them all there, and they all talk about kind of the same things in different ways. Alkaline ionized water, spirulina and chlorella, raw fruits and vegetables, that's number 3. Probiotics and prebiotics. Okay, staying mineralized. There's my full spectrum mineral here. I do liquid angstrom minerals. And there's other things too, but let's not get distracted. Vigorous daily exercise, positive mental attitude. Those are the things that this woman didn't have, and so she became emaciated. I think it's an eating disorder, that led to these other health problems. And so she had kids and everything. and you could see her wasting away. It's very sad. So, but you're going to blame that on this extreme raw food vegan diet? Yeah, it's not extreme. The way they paint it is really terrible. And like I said, all I care about is when I come onto my YouTube channel is one thing: health. I don't care about anything else. It's not about being right. It's about telling you the truth about health. And you'll find very few people that know more about health than Dr. Bob. Okay, I stand behind the words that I say, and all the books that I've written. When you write a book, it's really something like set in stone about it, because you look at any page in my book and you could take okay, do you still stand behind this? And you have to say, well, no, gee, I changed all my mind. I was wrong then. Well, I haven't changed my mind about anything. I'm very careful about what I've written. Again, you can get them all on Audible if you want to listen to these books. I'm very careful about the videos that I put out. And this woman is not the picture of health, and she's not what you should be doing on a raw food diet, and she should be dismissed. Well, she's passed away now, but this kind of dismissed in the sense that she was eating raw fruits and vegetables, not taking spirulina and chlorella, not exercising. It looks like not drinking water. You wonder why she got sick. That's gonna happen. But if somebody would have done this on a cooked food diet, you would never heard a word about it. All disease comes from our diet, and none of it, not any disease, comes from our genes. And that's what they want us to believe, because that's what the medical establishment believes itself. That's what they're taught in medical school. Just a reminder, medical doctors, know nothing about health. Nothing. The ones that you see out there, like Dr. Gundry, Mercola, they learned everything they know about health by doing from guys like me, and the health guys and people who write books like me. And that's fine. I'm not against them or anything, but just quit telling me that they learned that in medical school, because they didn't. They don't have nutrition classes. Are you going to tell me they have maybe 1 or 2 hours? No nutrition classes at all? That's right. That's the average doctor has nothing. And they know nothing. So everything they learn is outside of medical school, the same way that I learned all of it. Now, I've been doing this for many, many years. I've written all these books. I've read countless books. I've seen countless videos. You got to, I just understand the human body really well and how it functions and how you can stay healthy. Very few people will do what I do, but, they can't run 6-minute mile at my age. All my friends, none of them do what I do. And all of them, they're in their 60s. We're all like getting old. And they can't work anymore. They're all arthritic. They can't. They're builders. These guys build houses and pole barns, and they're just great at doing that stuff. That's not me. I can't. I know what a hammer looks like, and I know how to use it, but that's about it. But these guys are built, but they can't do anymore. They're winding down, and it's it's kind of sad to see them go, because they were my crew. I could always depend on them to build everything, and they can't do it anymore. So anyway, that's what happens to you. But you don't get old and sick and die. You live on the wrong foods, and then you get sick and you die. And age is just irrelevant. I've said it 1,000 times. I'm not going to die of a disease. I'm going to die. I'm not interested in living forever like these billionaires and these oligarchs, and transitioning into some kind of a robot, or whatever. And it sounds hideous. I'm going to die of an accident or an assassination or a murder, and never suicide. Bad mistake. Don't do that. And but I'm not going to die of a disease. That I can say for sure. Dr. Bob, stay on a raw food diet. That's the healthiest diet. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.